Stephen Delane and congratulated him without actually knowing that he'd been nominated, but I assumed he would have been. And he had been.
He plays the lead.
He does, in The Real Thing. And then I called my mother and spoke to her sister because she was still asleep. And said, please wake her up and tell her, for goodness sakes.
And was that when you found out that she'd been nominated?
I think I'd found out by then. I must have called somebody and said, who else?
And were you stunned when you found out that you were both nominated?
I was stunned when I found I was. I wasn't stunned when I found out she was. I was completely gobsmacked, yeah, about myself.
You mentioned earlier that you're American. Your father is an American, but your mother's British.
Mm-hmm.
What did you always want to act? Did you always want to follow your mother in this, or your father was a writer? Did you ever think that maybe you'd go that direction?
Yes, that's all I wanted to do was
really?
write.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how I ended up doing this, but it's going okay, so I'm going to stick with it for the moment.
And do you dabble with the writing as well?
I do a bit, yeah.
At the same time?
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about Pride and Prejudice, if we can.
Mm-hmm.
It was on this network. As you know, it was a huge deal. I think at the time it was the most watched show on A&E.
Wow.
Was that surprising to you that it was so well received here in the United States?
I was so unaware of it being actually received anywhere. I was just at the Royal Shakespeare Company, sort of doing 3 plays for an extremely long time. And I was not aware of the success it achieved in England until much later, and I wasn't aware of the success it achieved in America till way after the fact. So I sort of did a bit of a Rip Van Winkle, really. I just kind of woke up a couple of years later and realized that we'd made a hit.
You had made a hit, and you have a lot of fans,
apparently,
and people really love it, and it's played again, and people buy the video and that sort of thing, and people are emailing me about you being here because of Pride and Prejudice.
That's amazing.
Do you like the corset and bustle roles? Do you think you like those?
I don't know. I don't think you can really define them like that. I mean, there aren't any other Elizabeth Bennets. They're just not. If every part that involved a bonnet, you know, were an Elizabeth Bennet, then I would staple one to my scalp. But they just aren't. You know, she's one of the best female parts ever written. So.
And it started a whole Jane Austen thing.
Well, that actually all happened at the same time. I think Jane's card came up at the same time because they were making Persuasion, which I thought was wonderful. At the same time, we were doing Pride and Prejudice.
Right. And
Sense and Sensibility was already in the works. So I think just her number came up.
And it was a pretty big miniseries. I'm just curious, anything you remember from? I mean, how long was the shoot? How long did
5 months.
That's a long time to commit to that kind of character work and being in the country. Was it a fun time for you?
I was very tired. I was very tired. I loved pretending to be her. That was sort of, you know. But actually, when you're doing filming, you sort of get to act about 5 minutes a day. But they were a fantastic 5 minutes every day.
Let's talk about another movie you have out, Sunshine. We saw with Rosemary Harris. Your mother is also in this movie.
Yeah, we played the same part.
You played the same part, right?
Yes.
Did you talk to her about that and try to do similar things? No, just did it.
Yeah.
It's an epic. It goes on and on and on. This is really an incredible movie. It spans an enormous time period. It's been a couple of months since I've seen it now. I saw a screening when for press early on, but it covers, I think, over 100 years, I think.
It's about 80 years, I think.
80 years.
Yeah.
I promised I wouldn't say this. We were thinking it should be called You Can't Kill Ray Fiennes. Because he plays himself.
He plays 3 characters.
3 characters.
Yes,
He plays the father, and then the father dies, and he comes back as his own son. He just keeps coming back. Every time you think you're not going to see Ray Fiennes anymore, he comes back. So I was joking that that's what they should call it, but my wife was more than thrilled to be able to see.
Well, I was going to say, I think maybe they should use that to advertise.
It should probably be in the advertising. Was that good? Did you enjoy that film as well?
I loved it. I loved it. It's the best filming experience I've had.
And after this, after The Real Thing, after New York, what are you going to do? No idea. No idea? No plans? You're going to rest a little while? Tired seems to be a theme here, so you're going to rest? I have no idea. No idea what's going to happen at all. Well, have a good long run on Broadway. Good luck tonight at the Tony Awards. Thank you very much. Jennifer, thanks for coming.